Angel and Dead Man, and welcome to the Plaza Theatre here in Miamisburg, Ohio.
This particular Plaza Theatre opened in December 25th, 1919, and was a premier establishment at the time because it had talking movies. And at that time, you could escape the daily grind of your life by coming here, watching a movie, and the price of a ticket was only 15 cents for adults and 10 cents for children. Now, when we did our initial investigation here, we noticed a lot of strange mysteries, more questions arose as we did our investigation. And we did go to the back of the theater and got some really strong EMF readings. Now, Dead Man, what does that mean to you?
Well, the strong EMF readings could mean that there is a ghost present, or it could be a portal, or it could be a violent act that left some residual energy that has been depleting over a period of time. And we need to investigate further and find out what is causing the high EMF readings at the rear of the building back here.
You don't think that's like a constant, like a record that runs to the end and keeps going over and over and over again, residual energy?
That's right. Violent acts can leave residual energy that have a half-life, like uranium and plutonium, and it takes a long time to dissipate. That we had to do our investigation and see just exactly what is causing this reading.
Right. Now, when we first arrived at the Plaza Theatre, we ran into a construction worker. His name is Whitey, and he did quite a number on us, telling us exactly what caused that high EMF reading. So take a look. Here's Whitey and us arriving at the Plaza. And you call me? Where are you at?
Here at the Plaza Theatre.
And you hear voices here?
It's a theater, of course you hear voices.
You know, there's no seats.
No seats.
Hey,
There's no seats at all. There's no seats at all.
you work here?
Yes, sir, I work here.
You hear voices?
I'm an usher here.
And,
I hear voices all the time when I'm here.
upstairs or downstairs?
Both places.
We're ghost hunters, and can you show us what those ghost hunters?
I sure could, sir.
That's good.
What are you doing in here? And I know there was a lady killed in 1962, is what a friend of mine said, by somebody in Miamisburg from the back door, because she was messing around on him.
Okay.
And he was an usher here.
Jealous?
Yeah, actually, yes, he was. The gentleman was. And I don't know the outcome of that or nothing like that, but
Do you hear any voices? Do you feel any temperature drops?
I don't know, I'm a shaking because I don't like that stuff either, because I've been in there just to see what was going on, and I'm like,
So you get a feeling, eh?
well, you know how you get feelings. I mean,
Right.
and I ain't lying. You get feelings and you get feelings.
Yep. Those are old stairs, huh?
Yeah, it's all inclusive. I used to be up there to the guy who shot pictures and stuff up there. You know, the cameraman.
Okay.
So his dad built that.
Another cool thing too is that we found when they started tearing the restrooms apart is some old tile in there with graffiti on it. And we're gonna save that and have a spot that we're gonna stick that either in the new
Oh,
bathrooms
yeah,
or
my
somewhere.
gosh, that goes back.
Yeah.
Coons, I've been on that scalpel by myself. What are you doing in here?
Is that right?
No, there was a lady that murdered in here a long time ago. through
You're
that
kidding.
door right here.
Oh, my goodness.
Luther Horn told me he was an usher here back in '61.
I believe that.
Oh, that's past my time.
Well, she was with the wrong person. He come in through that door with a shotgun. Now, he ain't.
No kidding. And was
He
it a
said
theater
popcorn
then?
machines were going all crazy, and Luther's 61 years old now.
Yeah,
You know Luther Horn?
yeah, I know who Luther is.
Yeah, he was an usher here at one time.
Yeah.
In 1961, there was another individual who was an usher here, Luther Horn, and he also informed us that there was a murder back there at the back of the stage here.
She was murdered down there in the seats. Her and that guy she was going with, dating. This guy got off from work, I guess he worked up there at that paper mill. And he got off from work early, and he walked in on them and shot both of them with a shotgun.
Really?
Killed both of them right there, right inside the theater.
Now, we're at the Miamisburg News investigating the years 1954, 1955, 1959, 1960, 61 to look for these possible murders that occurred at the Plaza Hotel, and also the police officer that was stabbed in front of the Plaza Theatre. And that's what we're doing here today, is doing some research. So the ghost hunters are always out and about checking out whatever lead we can find. So stay tuned, we'll continue on to the Plaza. Okay. All right, viewers, another mystery at the Plaza. Patrick, what do we got?
We got a guy, a vagrant or a homeless man called Sheepskin,
Sheepskin.
who stayed here. They let him live down in the basement, or sleep in the basement, whatever the arrangement was.
Now, Sheepskin was a, like Patrick said, a vagrant, homeless man that Lee Schultz, the manager of the theater, allowed to stay in the basement for approximately a year. And we were kind of curious about Sheepskin, so we asked the mayor. The mayor of Miamisburg, Dick Church, has a lot of knowledge about the early 60s in Miamisburg in the Plaza Theater, but he knew Sheepskin, and here's what he had to say.
Right. We're here with the mayor of Miamisburg, Mr. Dick Church, and Mayor, we appreciate you taking the time out for this program. Along with Patrick Hughes, and we are investigating the Plaza Theater, and we got some strong readings at that particular theater, and we were told by a local resident there was a murder there. Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
I have, I've heard that rumor, and I have been asking around. Personally, I do not recall a murder at the Plaza Theater. I've asked at Historical Society meetings where some of the older residents, I was associate editor of Miamisburg News for a period of 10 years, 1962 to 72.
Okay.
I do not recall a murder at the Plaza Theater.
Okay, now
There was a death at the Plaza Theater.
that was, why don't you elaborate on that?
Okay, that was a man named Sheepskin. I don't know his proper name. Must have been around 1966, 67. John Cheritz's Barbershop, which was part of the Plaza Theater building.
Right.
It was a place where the businessmen of the community would hang out.
Right.
When you took a break in the afternoon, you'd go there. John always had a pot of coffee, and you would throw a 50-cent piece in to help cover the cost of the coffee. And that's just where everybody hung out and gossiped.
Mm-hmm.
And around 66, 67, this, I'll call him a vagrant, came to Miamisburg and just started hanging out. Lee Schultz, who was a barber with John Sheritz, was also the proprietor, along with Charlie Sheritz, of the theater.
Okay.
And the way I remember it, Lee let Sheepskin sleep in
In the basement.
of the theater.
Yeah.
But anyway, this guy, he was sleeping at Sheritz's, or at the Plaza Theater in the basement. Well, he died one night, and so he was taken to Bruff Funeral Home over here on 2nd Street. And he laid there for weeks. Because we had to raise money, he had no money. We had to raise money to bury him. We had the Brothers of the Brush chapters where we all grew beards. And the guys that hung out at the barber shop, we named our chapter the Brothers of the Brush, the sheepskin chapter.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
That's pretty.
But anyway, we finally got enough money, and you had asked me earlier how much that was. I think it was back around in the 60s. It was probably around $1,000 we had to raise.
That's pretty big money back then.
And it wasn't a fancy coffin, but anyway, we give him a proper send-off. We had a funeral service, and he was buried in Popper's Field out here at Hillgrove Cemetery.
This is Hillgrove Cemetery, the cemetery where sheepskin is buried in. He's buried in the is it Popper's area.
Popper's Field, right. This is in Miamisburg, Ohio, and sheepskin was buried by the Brothers of the Order of the Brush, which is a organization that the mayor belonged to. So this is the area where he is buried in an unmarked grave. So we're going to continue this program, and stay with us. The Ghost Hunters will be right back. So far we got a few mysteries. We also have another one. What's that, Matt?
Mr. I believe there is a story about a police officer who was killed in front of the theater out here.
Yeah.
You need to find information about that also.
Why, that was the only Miamisburg police officer killed in the line of duty, Frank Widener. He was stabbed to death in the front of the Plaza Theatre. We don't know the details of that murder at this time, but we do know that we have an entity reading, a strong reading in the front of the theater, the basement, and the back of the theater. So would you say that we got at least 3 good, solid?
3 good, at least 2 red readings, a reading yellow for the entire stage. And yeah, so at least 3 or 4 good readings.
Okay, so the electromagnetic field detector is going off like mad. So would you say that the Plaza Theater is haunted?
I would say that there is something causing anomalies here.
And when you say anomalies, what do you mean?
The anomalous energy reading, something is causing our EMF meter to spike into the red.
Okay.
And like today, there is no electricity in the building, so it can't be from electrical wiring. The building is completely dead, and we are still getting high energy readings in this area. So something is causing this. We need to find out if it's a ghost, a portal, or residual energy from a planet out. Now, viewers, if you were to look at this floor, you would notice how it kind of slopes up and it goes straight back to the back of the theater, and that's not normally the way a theater floor is laid out.
That is a mystery. That's one of the mysteries we have here, because when this place was sold to the Sorrell brothers in 1971, they wanted to convert this into a Western shop. And what they did, they took this gradient floor, put cinder blocks by the stage, built it up, built a wall, poured pea gravel over all the seats and the organ, and put this concrete cap right over the top and tuned this theater. So what's the mystery, Patrick?
Well, are there or are there not seats underneath this concrete?
That's the big question, because some people are saying the seats were all taken out, and other people are saying, no, they still are entombed here. But where are all the seats? There's only one seat that exists, and that's at the Historical Society. We're in here, an actual seat taken from the Plaza Theater, And this one was in the office, but it looks exactly like the ones that were in the theater. Now, the mystery is, are there seats in the theater or not? I'm going to check that out. They're going to tear out the floor, hopefully. We'll find out, and we'll keep you updated on that part of this mystery.
Wouldn't let him. We started trying to unbolt these seats. There were 700 seats, and they were stuck to the floor. They, the bolts were busting off, and we didn't want them.
Right.
We had to raise the floor 7 feet.
Right.
So what we did was just plow them to the front. Now somebody said we buried a pipe work, and that's bull crap.
Yeah, there was no pipe work.
There is no pipe work.
Yeah, Doug said you were.
Doug's 5 years old.
Yeah. Okay, on the pea gravel and all that stuff, you said how many truckloads of pea gravel?
They hauled in tons. They used low-boy dump trucks that weren't hauled because they had to come in under this marquee, and they backed up through the entranceway, and we just backed down into the pit and we filled it up moving forward.
Okay.
So there was no way for those seats to be left where they were, and us be able to back those low-boy dump trucks in there to fill up the pit.
So, the Weaver brothers were the original owners of this theater, and they opened it, like I said before, December 25th, 1919. Lon Weaver was the manager, and after his daughter was born and was old enough, she took tickets here at the Plaza Theatre. And did she believe there are any ghosts in this theater? Well, take a look. Here's Toots Rudder now, also known as Toots Weaver, on some of her past experiences at the theater. In your experiences, did you ever hear any stories of hauntings at this location?
No, not at all.
No voices?
No, only on the screen.
On the screen, okay. All
On the
right,
screen.
okay, on the screen.
Yeah.
Susan, how about you? Did you ever hear anything?
No, didn't really hear stories about it. I just know that there's weird feelings in here. I know, especially since we've come in here to try to start the renovations and stuff, there's a lot of nooks and crannies, and at different places you walk, you get different feelings.
feeling?
A corner over there is one of the strongest feelings I get, but also in the basement, if you go down in the basement, my goodness, it's real strong down there. And then upstairs, there's a lot of doors that you can go through, and you'll come out exactly in the hall you just came out of, and it's like, how did I get from this point to that point and back to this point again?
So you got some cold spots there.
You want to talk to him?
Cold,
Yeah,
I guess
why.
you'd say that.
Now
Residual energy from applying it out.
Well, this is where we bring in our ghost hunter psychic, Ruby Hare, and she's very sharp on picking up any entities that might be in this theater. And here's what Ruby picked up in the plaza. All right, we're here at the Plaza Theatre in Miamisburg, Ohio. This particular place, we've detected possibly something, but we're not sure. That's why Ruby Hare is here today, and we're going to see what she has, what she picks up. Now, I know that this particular location is probably pretty old. I'm guessing around the 1920s, but right now it's in the process of restoration. I'm not going to say anything more because I know Ruby is going to pick up on something, but we'll find out when she gets in there. So we're going inside the Plaza Theatre now, and hopefully Patrick will be joining us a little bit later. So, all right, here we go. Ruby, it's all yours.
Okay. Your activity in this building quite a bit. And it's just that whole feeling. It's like you're walking back into time and everything's still happening.
Okay, we're at the Plaza Theatre, at the very back of the theater where the screen used to be. And Ruby, what have you been picking up back here? I know you've been talking. We haven't had the cameras rolling, but we got them rolling now.
I was talking that I was drawn back to this area. I felt like I was coming back into something. I had believed that at one point in time there was actual, people acting out and doing things, and then later they had a theater with a screen here and maybe seats and that. But at the physical time that things first happened, that they would act out as though they were doing a play, theater acting, and that this floor has been raised. There's still activity going on here today. There's still people that were here who were acting and doing various things at that time. It's like the place is still alive. And there seems to be a lot of spiritual activity in this place, a lot of energy, like it's still alive.
We got a good reading here.
And like I said, I'm just aware of people, you know, coming and going, doing things. It's very much, and I was drawn over to that area. If you saw me go over there earlier.
I did. You said your breathing was labored.
Yeah, and my breathing was labored over in this area. Like I said, we have a lot of activity in here, more activity. Not that we didn't have plenty of spirits in the other places that we were at, but these are just more active about letting themselves be seen and knowing that they're around. And because this was the place, the stage area, where various things happen. But I guess my feeling is, what's bugging me the most is the floor. I'm wanting, it's like there's something else that's under that floor, that they put this other floor on that floor for a reason. There have been spirits that have actually been seen right up here in this area. And the building has a lot of history, and because of what I'm getting and seeing, and there's so much of it, there were things that happened at that time that are still happening today, that you may see it reoccurring.
So spirits can be like a record going over and over again.
Exactly, and that's kind of like what it's doing here. It's like replaying over and over. There's a lot of energy, and it's almost like you feel somebody coming in that area and coming through here. It's just a real strong feeling over in that area. And like I said, when I came back here, I felt like I was being drawn toward an energy or towards someone or something that was right back in this area. And the strongest place that I got was from about here right over into this area.
We are getting a strong reading on the EMF detector.
Yeah.
And temperature is still up there around 74 to 80 degrees. So I think there's definitely something here. Okay, so we're going to go down the basement of the Plaza Theater with Ruby here and see what she picks up down there. No history to the end. Got 66 degrees so far.
Now, this was this here before the theater was here, this part?
Original basement.
And the theater was put over top of it. I don't know if I'm being confused by what was here before as opposed to the combination of the both of them, but it just seems like, and I know we're in a basement, and I know it might sound dumb, but it seems like things were stored and were put here. But it just feels like it was something else first. Another structure first.
I think most people say that you do store stuff in the basement.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want to just say.
No, but it was more than just what you would store from a movie house in the basement.
Okay.
You're right.
It was what?
I said it would be stored more than just what a movie house would store down here.
Yeah, and that's what I felt like, that it's like, I don't know how to explain it. I guess my feeling is more than anything else that it was used for something of more importance at the time than just your normal storage that you would use for a basement today.
Okay.
Right.
Sam, look at the store behind you. Right here. Look at the hardware.
Look at the hardware behind this door.
This is where we found that last chair that we have at the Historical Society celebrating.
Feel like that the basement down here is significant. It was just unusual. It just feels like it's of importance. But I picked, because of the stuff being layered on top of each other, I've picked up a lot more activity upstairs, that you've got a lot of spirits running around here. But I just feel like that this was important to the town, and that's the only thing that I can tell you. Like I said,
The higher as you get to the top.
Okay, we're... Entrance?
I'm not going to step on that part.
No, don't try.
They did have a solid floor here, but it's gone.
Yeah, I'm not going to step on it.
Be a little bit cautious about getting out on that.
The breathing's getting a little bit heavier up in this area.
Well, this is the Plaza area we're here with.
Sure.
Yeah, with Patrick. And, yeah, same in here too, all of us. So you stop.
We have a spirit.
Oh, you
That
said
was-
something. Say it again.
I said we have a spirit that's up here in this area.
I do have a reading.
You got a reading. Okay, yellow, strong yellow.
Strong yellow. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to try to follow. It seems to be going this way. It's funny because, see, I'm seeing a different green light than the light that you have on there.
Are you colorblind?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying a different light is appearing on there.
You seen a ghost light?
Solid on that here.
Yeah.
Well, that would drop there.
Right. That's what
Still
I
got
said.
strong yellow.
He's moving.
Yeah, it's dropped down.
Come back over this way.
Okay, sticking with you.
Okay.
There's some little alcove in here. I think we looked at it
Yeah.
once, but.
You can walk more over toward this area. He's moving around. It's like, okay, you want to talk with us? What do you want to do?
He's hanging around you.
That's
Moving
gone.
away
Now he's
from
gone. That's what I said.
Still there. He's trying to get in back of you.
Yeah, no, he's
Stay.
trying to get behind me.
Yeah.
He's kind of hovering right around where your rear end is. I don't want to say
I
anything
know.
about that.
They
Well-
like to come in the back where your spine is. That's where the energy.
Oh, okay.
That's where your life force is strongest.
So the third eye is not the,
Right around in here, like tap into the energy and just feed off of you.
Yeah. You see, when you did that, he was back there and he brushed against me because he pushed more into me. When you walked up, it pushed him into me.
it's still going to get strong.
Okay.
All right, well, let's leave this entity by
What
himself.
is-
Patrick, what do we pick up in front of the plaza?
Now, when Ruby was there, remember she did pick up a spirit that was moving around in front of the plaza, which would have been the front of the Plaza Theatre at the time that it was open. And it was trying to stay in back of her, and you were tracking her with the EMF meter.
That's right, that's right.
And it kept saying that trying to get in back of her. So we did detect a spirit that was in the area where the police officer was killed.
Right. Now that was Frank Widener. He was the only Miamisburg police officer killed in the line of duty in Miamisburg, and that occurred in 1922. And what had happened is that Lon Weaver and Harry Weaver were the managers of the theater, and a patron tried to get into the theater. He was drunk, disorderly, and Harry Weaver, the manager, told him he couldn't come in. The patron got very abusive, cursed, and started becoming a little bit physical with Harry. Harry was a pretty stocky type of guy, and threw him out of the theater. Officer Frank Widener was across the street and saw what was going on and approached the suspect from behind, put his hand on, I think, the suspect's shoulder. And the disorderly man turned around and stabbed Officer Frank Widener with a Barlow knife in the chest and killed him. And so that's could be that spirit.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay. So to keep the viewers updated on what was going on in the front of the theater, so we got Officer Frank Widener killed in the front of the plaza, sheepskin vagrant that died in the basement of the theater, and what else?
The lady who was killed by her husband or a jealous lover in the back of the theater.
Okay.
And occurred. And that was another area where we picked up a reading.
That was a good strong reading. So.
Yes.
All right, this is the Ghost Hunters, and as we always say,
the game is afoot.
The game is afoot. As the restoration of the plaza continues, we will continue our investigation and our search for any paranormal activity here. Is the entities that we picked up the entity of police officer Frank Widener, possibly a murdered woman, or is it the restless spirit of Sheepskin, the homeless man that lived in the basement?
Whatever the spirits or entities are that are here at the plaza indicates that there is a high level of anomalies, which would indicate that the plaza is haunted.
We are going to continue our search and probably investigate quite a bit of paranormal activity throughout the town of Miamisburg. So look forward to our next program, Haunted Miamisburg. We'd also like to thank Mayor Dick Church for his contribution to this program. Also Kim Moat of the Miamisburg News, Kathy and Susan Oberer, and all the other people that we interviewed to try and establish, is this place haunted or not?
Don't forget Nita Pettigrew.
And Nita Pettigrew, she's quite a lady. And you'll see her on the Haunted Miamisburg program. So stay tuned, the Ghost Hunters are in Miamisburg, and we look forward to seeing you in the next Haunted Miamisburg program coming up.
We're on the case.
We're rolling.